Hello everybody, my name is Joshua and I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of Coffee, Cats, and King, where we will discuss books, both new and old. I will share with you pictures of my cats who will make you wish they were your cats, and I'm drinking enough coffee for me and everybody watching. I apologize in advance if my voice sounds a little stranger than usual. It is not because I'm sick, it is simply because my wife is still out of town for the next couple of days. She'll be back at the end of the week. But when I'm not at work, I just don't interact with anybody. I stay here in our nice little, home in the woods, and I don't talk. So I realize as I'm getting on here that my voice sounds a little rusty after 3 or 4 days of not talking. I don't know. Is that a problem? For me, it's not a problem, but other people might think it is. I'm also rather hyped up on coffee, in case you couldn't tell. And today I'm using the mug that my wife got me. It says, "I turned coffee into books." And one day I hope to make that true. Now I have to show off this shirt that I just picked up. I got this at a thrift store for $2. How freaking cool is that, man? Couldn't pass it up. I didn't care if it was 3 sizes too small. I was gonna have to pick it up because it was so cool, you know? Now we're here today because I wanted to do a June TBR, and I know in the past I've talked about how I'm kind of stepping away from TBRs. They put too much pressure on me. I don't like being confined in that way, but I decided I had to do it for this coming month because this month is LGBTQ plus Pride Month. And this is something that it means a lot to me. It means a lot to a lot of us out there in the community. And I wanted to focus on horror in particular this month. One, because that's kind of my thing anyway. And two, because I feel that horror in particular in the last few years has really started to finally embrace the LGBTQ plus community. And that's a big thing because in the past, horror has been the absolute worst in terms of their representation of any gender, any sexuality that is not male and heterosexual. So I really wanted to showcase some authors here that are doing something to push forward new ideas, new concepts, and just help to bring these two communities together. So I took way too long curating a list for myself this month of 10 books and 2 bonus books that I plan to get to for the month of June in celebration of Pride Month. Now, I will be looking back and forth to my notes here because there's a lot. And I do not have any of these books with me in physical copies yet. I have some of them on the way. I have about half of them coming in physical copy form. The other half are going to be ebook. One, because it's easier for me to read on ebook, and 2, because I'm a poor man and I cannot afford to buy all these books outright in physical copies as opposed to spending $4 on the Kindle version. So it is what it is, guys. I will be showing off the print copies though that I'm getting when they come in, but for now we're going to jump on into the list. Stay tuned. It's going to be really great. Now these are in no particular order, but the first one I'm going to talk about is a book called Liar, Memoir of a Haunting by E.F. Schrader. And this book immediately caught my eye. It sounds like everything that I love in a classic horror. This is about a woman and her wife who buy an isolated little cabin in the woods, decide, you know what, we're going to get away from society, we're going to make it our home, and things don't go quite as planned. Weird things start happening, bad things start happening. The house is damaged one day, and her wife goes missing, and she doesn't know if it's vandals and intruders, or if it's something supernatural, or what's going on. But the answers are far worse than the questions that she has to ask. And what I really love about this one is that the main character is a horror fan, a big horror fan. So I'm actually going to read the first couple sentences of this book because this is what sold me on it. All we wanted was a cabin in the woods. We didn't want this story. From this vantage point, it was hard to believe a horror aficionado missed such a catalog of unheeded warnings and ignored signs. An haunting tale was easy to spot. An early sighting of a tense cat or dog standing at the front door, whining, pacing, avoiding the house, or a bird at the window tapping. A small thing, no bigger than a fist. Some poor animal that became a symbol to foreshadow all the bad shit about to go down. A small animal life anchoring one terrible thing: vulnerability. And you have me sold. Sounds awesome. Can't wait to read it. The author, I couldn't find a lot out about them. I know that they are queer, and that's about all I know. They're trying to keep their lives separate from the writing. Perfectly acceptable. But I am so excited about this one, and I know I said these are in no particular order. This is definitely going to be one of the first ones I get to, though, because, come on, how can it not be? Now, next one on the list, I had to include at least one anthology, so this is it. This is Night Shadows, Queer Horror, edited by Greg Herron. And this is 400 pages of horror stories meshed with sexuality. And all of the authors that contributed to this collection are, in fact, gay or lesbian or of some other sexuality rather than heterosexual. Now, the cover caught my eye for this one before anything, and I knew that I wanted to pick it up. It sounded great. The reviews are awesome on it. And these are all people that are very prolific in the field. They're all people that have some renown within the horror fantasy field. So I know it's going to be a great collection. Very much looking forward to it. Alright, now this next book is probably the most well-known on the list. And is also tends to end up on a lot of the lists of most extreme horrors of all time. This is Exquisite Corpse by Billy Martin. Now, Billy Martin is previously known as Poppy Zebright, but Billy has gone through full transition now, and he is now Billy Martin. This one is very well known within the horror community. This is extreme horror 100%. This is about a serial killer who considers what he does art, and he tries to come up with more and more extreme ways of killing his victims and of doing things to the bodies. And he meets another gentleman who has taken his art so well beyond what this killer has done that he's in awe of this man. And they end up becoming a duo, end up in a relationship together, and basically become the worst nightmare of anyone that comes in contact with them. I don't even know how to describe this book. I have been told that it is just absolutely horrific in every single way. There's cannibalism, there's violence and sexuality that is just so far above what you normally see. I don't know, what can I say? When you read Poppy Zebright, you know that you're going to get something great. You know that you're going to get something queer. And Exquisite Corpse is the absolute ultimate of horror in this regard. So definitely getting that one this month. Alright, now this next one I think I'm going to get a few of you on. This is April Jane Rowan with Beneath a Bethel. And this is a very short one, but this is one that I am so looking forward to. This is actually more in the realm of fantasy, but in a moment you'll see why it is absolutely horrific as well. So this one is about a gentleman who lives in a place called Elbridge, and Elbridge is very special. See, here in Elbridge, they celebrate this holy ceremony titled Florus. And everybody waits for Florus to happen for them, because when Florus happens, it is the day that you go down to the river and all of your teeth are forcibly removed with pliers so that you can be given a set of special dentures that have been endued with magic. And I'm going to pause here for a second and let you guys soak in the zaniness of what I just said. You good? Okay. Now, I read a lot of horror. as a person who reads a lot of horror, the stuff that tends to get to me most is not when someone talks about, killing someone with a knife or shooting someone or that. It's things like descriptions of people having their teeth removed, which is half of this novella, apparently. And from what I've seen in the reviews, it is very detailed, it is very graphic, and it is very hard to sit through. And I am very excited for it. Now, this is another one where the author is lesbian, and she has written about a gay man as the main character of her book. So, very much looking forward to this. I can't wait to sink my teeth into it. Alright, up next we have another lesbian author. This is Kelly Robson with Alias, Space, and Other Stories. Now this is another 400-pager. This one in particular, I don't know as much about the entire collection. I was actually suggested this one because of one particular story in there, one award-winning story in there, titled A Human Stain. And I'm actually going to put a picture up of the cover of that particular story as well. And then I'll swap back to the one for Alias. But A Human Stain was suggested to me. This is about a woman who babysits for a friend of hers and ends up getting romantic with someone else involved. I'm not going to say who. But basically, I'm not going to go into any details about it other than to say that if the title does not suggest to you that this is going to be a twisted, messed up horror, then I'm going to tell you outright it is going to be a twisted, messed up horror. I have been told that this is one of the most grotesque and disturbing novellas that this particular person that suggested it to me has ever read. For me, that gets my blood pumping, that gets me excited. And I'm sure that if that author wrote this fantastic piece, then everything else in Alias, Space, and Other Stories is also going to go within that realm. Alright, switching gears here just a little bit. I know we said we're focused on horror. This one is not horror. This one is fantasy, but it's in here for a particular reason. Now, the vast majority of the books on here focus on LGBTQ plus characters that are adults. There are only two on here that focus on teenagers and younger. And this is the first one. This is the one that is going to be for the youngest age group, if you will. This is April Daniels with Dreadnought Nemesis. As you may have been able to guess from the cover, Dreadnought is a superhero novel. However, it is just slightly different from what we're used to. The main character here is a young trans girl named Danny. And Danny is actually still hiding the fact from others around her that she is trans. She is terrified of how people are going to react. In fact, she knows how they are going to react. And that is why she's terrified. So she's trying to come up with a way to either hide this forever or to get someone to accept her for who she really is. And one day, as she's walking along, Dreadnought, the greatest superhero of all time, falls from the sky, dies at her feet, and grants her all of his powers. And something weird happens when this occurs. She actually changes. She transforms into what she always thought she was meant to be. She transforms into a woman. One would think that this would be a good thing. It would maybe solve some of Danny's issues, but that is not at all the case because one, now she is expected to be the greatest superhero of all time, and two, the people around her still don't accept that she is in fact a woman. So, like I said, I picked this one, because it's just super freaking interesting. I've wanted to read some superhero novels. There aren't many great ones out there. This one sounds really cool, and I wanted some representation for kids who are going through this. And this, I think, has the potential to be that. There are 2 in the series right now. There's meant to be a 3rd. I don't know when it's coming out or if it's coming out, but for now, I'm excited to get into Dreadnought Nemesis and see what Miss April Daniels does for kids within the community. Now, the only other one on the list that focuses on younger folk is Christopher Barzak with One for Sorrow. This one was actually just turned into a movie titled Jamie Marks is Dead, but it sounds so beautiful and haunting. This is about a 15-year-old boy who discovers a body in the woods of a boy that was very much like him, someone who was very misunderstood in life, and someone that had the potential to be a confidant for him had they met just a little bit earlier. But luckily for him, Jamie, despite being dead, has stuck around as a ghost. And Adam, our main character, slowly starts to develop a friendship and even maybe feelings for Jamie, despite his less than corporeal form. So, it is horror, but it is very much on the light side. This is more about heartache and heartbreak and the things that youths have to go through regularly, but especially so when they're misunderstood and misrepresented. And this is one that I hope to read and then have my wife read. I think it's going to be absolutely lovely. I do. I need a quick coffee break, guys. Alright, now I think this next one is going to gain a little attention with certain people on here. Definitely miss Pax Panic, so pay attention to this one. This is Jen Archer Wood with Point Pleasant, and this is actually an illustrated edition. The name Point Pleasant probably triggers something immediately with certain people because Point Pleasant is a place in West Virginia where the ever-famous cryptid, the Mothman, first appeared and where actually all of these sightings have been at. This is about a man named Ben who has an encounter with the Mothman in his younger years. He ends up moving away for that reason, and because of something that happens that just totally changes things for him, he moves away and becomes a best-selling horror author. Well, later in life, he comes back and decides, you know what, I'm going to get to the bottom of this thing. I'm going to find out, was the Mothman real? Is he still around? What the heck is going on? All that said, it is also kind of so he can come back and revisit a particular friend of his from his past that had a major hand in turning him into the person he is now. So, this one is much more a mixture of horror and romance. And I'm not normally one for romance, but it is what it is. If it's done correctly, I don't care. I'm going to enjoy it. Very excited about this one. I love the mythos around the Mothman and just the detailed accounts involved, everything about it, because I spent some time over that way and I have family over there. So it almost has a personal ring to me. So anytime I can find horror involving the Mothman, I'm there. And this is that, ergo, I'm buying. Alright, now I'm probably going to say this next name incorrectly, and I apologize if I do, but this is a book by Kazuki Sakuraba. This is A Small Charred Face. And this sounds like what is easily going to be one of the most original vampire novels I've ever read. And for this, I'm just going to read you the little synopsis that they give because it does this book more justice than I possibly could trying to blather through an explanation. You ready? What are the bamboo? They're from China. They look just like us. They live by night. They drink human blood but otherwise keep their distance. And every century they grow white blooming flowers. A boy named Keio is saved from death by a bamboo, a vampire born of the tall grasses. They start an enjoyable yet strange shared life together, Keo and the gentle bamboo. But for bamboo, communication with human beings is the greatest sin. So, this is actually about not just one bamboo, as they're called, but two. This gay vampire couple, they adopt this human child, even though it is just the furthest thing from okay within the bamboo group, if you will. It is essentially the equivalent of housing a Jewish person during World War II. If the Nazis found out, awful, horrible things going to happen to you and everybody around you, and that is what these bamboo vampires are up for if it is found out that they are housing a human child. So it just sounded so unique and interesting. There was no way I could pass it up. I'm hoping that this brings me to a whole new realm of vampire literature. Alright, and then the final book on here is the only one that I have actually read before, but I've been waiting for a reason to buy it again and read it again. I never should have gotten rid of it in the first place, but I did, and man, I regret it. But this is a special one to me. This is Chris Garrison with Road Ghosts Omnibus. And this is actually comprised of 3 novels. Now, Chris Garrison, the author, goes by Chrissy, is a transgender woman. She writes all kinds of really great stuff, and kind of all over the place. Fantasy, steampunk westerns, this, which is just straight supernatural horror, and I have not read enough by her yet because, I read Road Ghosts a while ago, a couple years ago, loved it, loved every second of it. This is, think Scooby-Doo meets Supernatural, and that's kind of what you have. It is a group of, it's a group of friends and their dog who pile into a van, go on adventures together. Crazy, zany, supernatural stuff happens, messed up stuff happens, possessions and ghosts and demons and all that stuff. And it was just a blast. This was one of my favorite books, period, at the time. And I'm pretty sure that I gave it to a friend without realizing that I basically can't get a new copy now, so I am buying the Kindle version, and I am trying to find a way to reach out to the author, because whatever I need to pay, I want to pay and get a signed copy of this book. So I'm trying to find ways. I have found her on Goodreads, but I can't seem to find a way to message her. So I'm working with that, but guys, this is a great one. If you are a fan of Scooby-Doo and you want something that will scratch that itch as an adult, Road Ghosts is for you. Pick it up. It's freaking awesome. I love it, and I can't wait to read it again. Alright, and I did say that there are 2 bonus books on here. These are bonuses because I don't know if I'm actually going to get to either one of them. One of them I'm actually a good ways into. I just don't know if I'm going to finish it this month or not. But that is Mr. Troy Treadups, and this is a hefty one. It's about 500 pages. I realize that I'm 300 pages in right now, but man, those last 200 pages, I just don't know if I'm going to get to it. And I'm including this here because there's so many excellent stories and plays in this collection that involve sexuality in its many forms. There are many gay characters, many characters who don't necessarily know what they want, characters who deny themselves what they do want, and just excellent representation all around in this collection. I'm loving every bit of it so far, and I hope that I will finish the last 200 pages, but I just can't promise that. And then should I get through all of that somehow, the final book that I want to include on here is by in my opinion, the cream of the crop, the top guy. If you are specifically looking for a great horror novel, he is one of the best. If you are looking for a great gay novelist, he is one of the best. And if you're looking for a combination of the two, he is the best. That is Mr. Clive Barker with The Great and Secret Show. And that is the handsome man himself. I couldn't make this list without including a Clive Barker on here. The man is just incredible at everything he puts his hands to. His artwork is always just super creepy and awesome. His written work, awesome. Always has great representation. And I kind of just wanted to show off as well because it is a signed Clive Barker, and I'm very excited, very happy to have it in my collection. So, I can't promise I'm going to get this one, or that I'm going to finish it at least, because it is 700 pages. That said, if I get time, I will get to this. I will do my best, and if not, then I guess it'll be the first one that I finish in July. So, there you go. That is my June TBR in celebration of LGBTQ+ Pride Month. I hope that you guys will pick some of these up because, like I said, I really try to do some research, find some great books, not just books that everybody reads, but books that other people should be reading because they all sound awesome. Not a single book on here, feels like a throwaway to me. Every book on here, I can't wait to get to all of them. I'm very excited about it, very excited for the representation that is occurring in the horror community, and I hope it continues. I hope we just keep going up from here, guys. So that's it. I'm going to end it here. Like I said, I haven't been doing much talking lately, so I can actually feel my voice going from this short little video. But that'll do it, guys. Stay safe, drink great coffee, read great books, celebrate Pride Month. Tell me how you're going to celebrate Pride Month down below. As always, cheers.